Imagine that you spend 75,000 on a brand new full-size SUV. You've got 1,500 miles on the clock and the thing still smells new inside. And then on the highway, you lose oil pressure, you lose power, you coast off the exit ramp, and you wait for a tow truck. Now, that's not a horror story. That is the 2026 GMC Yukon. And sadly, it's not the only one. So before we get into it, if you're shopping for a new or a used GM SUV, well, this channel is there to protect your wallet. That's the whole point. So do me a favor, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next time we pull back the curtain on what these manufacturers are not telling you. All right, let's get into it. So General Motors sells the Chevy Tahoe, the Chevy Suburban, the GMC Yukon, and the Cadillac Escalade. Now, those just happen to be four of the most popular full-sized SUVs on the market. And by the way, these are not cheap vehicles. A fully loaded Yukon Denali Ultimate pushes past $90,000. The Escalade V crosses six figures without even blinking. So when you're writing checks that big, you have one reasonable expectation, and that expectation is that the engine actually works. Well, right now in 2026, that expectation is not being met across multiple powertrains. Now, let me break it down engine by engine. So let's start with the 6.2 litre V8, the L87, because this one has been a slow motion disaster for years now. And in 2026, it's getting worse, not better. A 2026 GMC Yukon owner on Reddit ordered in July 2025 took delivery on October the 30th. And then they posted their experience just weeks ago. Driving to work, gets off the highway, loses acceleration, loses oil pressure, the SUV shuts itself off completely, 1,500 miles on the odometer, brand new, engine replacement required. Their exact words, "I totally regret trading in my reliable Toyota." Now that sentence should be in every GM dealer showroom right now. And here's what makes this particularly damaging. This isn't a freak occurrence, we're beginning to see a pattern. One owner of a 2023 Yukon Denali Ultimate has already gone through 3 engine replacements, not 1, not 2, but 3. Oh, sorry, to make it even worse, a second transmission, a second differential, a steering failure at highway speed. So they contacted GM's legal leadership and they retained lawyers. Now, that's not a warranty situation, it's a lemon law situation. So what's it going wrong exactly inside the 6.2? Well, the known failure points are the lifters, specifically tied to GM's dynamic fuel management system, which, by the way, shuts off cylinders to save fuel. Now, on paper, that's smart technology, but in practice, well, those cylinder deactivation components wear prematurely, and when they fail catastrophically. You get a knocking sound that escalates fast from a subtle tick to rod knock, and then total engine loss. Now, GM's current solution, and I'm using that word loosely, is an updated oil spec. They've moved away from the 0W20 that they originally specified, and they've moved towards 0W40 in the affected vehicles. And some owners who switch to 5W30 on their own, well, they're reporting quieter operation. So the question is thinner oil the root cause? Well, we'll get to that. But the fact that the oil spec is now the frontline defense for a flagship V8, well, that tells you everything that you need to know. Now, some buyers, and I've seen this play out in the comments, know the gasoline V8s are struggling, so logically they go for the diesel. Now, the 3-litre Duramax inline 6, to be exact, fuel economy is better, torque comes in the lower RPM range, and it seems like a very smart play. Except, here's what GM Authority just reported in February 2026. They said that the 3-litre Duramax is now under constraint for multiple 2026 Tahoe and Suburban trim levels. including the LT and the High Country. You walk into a dealer, you want the diesel, GM says, sorry, you can't have it, it's unavailable to order. And when you dig into why, well, it just gets worse. There are growing reports of thrust-bearing failures in the 3.0 Duramax at extremely low mileage. One owner of a 2026 ZR2 reported the engine simply dying while driving at 3,000 miles. No check engine light, no warning, the engine just stopped. Another owner noted, if you make it past 5,000 miles with the thrust bearing intact, you might be okay. Might. Now, this is deeply uncomfortable margin for a brand new diesel engine in a $70,000 plus SUV. And GM knows. Yahoo Auto, reported in January 2026 that GM is taking a hard look at the 3-litre Duramax as owners' complaints stack up. Taking a hard look while you're driving that engine right now is pretty much cold comfort. And then there's the 5.3-litre V8, the volume engine, the one that's in the majority of Tahoes, Suburbans, and Yukons on the road right now, the one that should be the safe, proven option. Well, the 5.3 is not catastrophically failing at 1,500 miles the way the 6.2 is, but it still has a well-documented persistent oil consumption problem. Owners are putting a quart of oil in between oil changes. Some are doing it every 1,000 miles. Now, this is the same issue that has followed this engine for years, and 2026 models are still showing it. Now, oil consumption might sound minor compared to a blown engine, but it isn't. See, burning oil quietly accelerates wear across the entire engine. And if you're not checking your oil between changes, and most buyers of $60,000 vehicles aren't, because they shouldn't have to, well, you're unknowingly running low on protection. And that can turn an oil consumption problem into a catastrophic failure problem. Now, when all three of GM's powertrain options in their flagship SUV lineups are showing problems, that's not a bad batch, it's a systemic issue. So let's talk about why, because, as you know, I don't cover problems without covering causes. Well, forgive me. The honest answer is that the automotive industry, not just GM, has been in an engineering arms race against fuel economy regulations. CAFE standards have forced manufacturers to extract maximum efficiency out of their engines. And the tools that they're using to get there, cylinder deactivation, lower viscosity oils, direct injection, well, they all create new failure points that didn't exist in simpler engines. GM's dynamic fuel management shuts off cylinders on the fly. Now, that's great for fuel economy numbers on a sticker, but it's terrible for long-term valve train durability if the system has any calibration or lubrication deficiencies. And the move to thinner oils, 0W20, which flows faster and creates less drag, certainly helps fuel economy, but it may not be providing adequate film strength under heat and load in these larger displacement engines. Now, the old 5.3-litre LS from the 2002 Silverado, it's simple, robust, no cylinder deactivation, and it uses 5W30 oil. It ran until the body rusted off the frame, but the 2026 version, far more complex, far more capable on paper, and statistically, well, it's far less likely to reach 200,000 miles without major intervention. Okay, so you're in the market for a full-size SUV. What do you actually do with all of this? Well, first, if you're really set on GM, demand the diesel if it's available for your trim. The thrust-bearing issue exists, yes, but it typically presents early in the first 5,000 miles. If the engine clears that window, the Duramax historically has better long-term durability than the gasoline V8s in this application. And do me a favor, monitor your oil obsessively regardless of which engine you choose. Second, If you are considering the 6.2-litre V8 specifically, please know that GM is still in the middle of a recall process on the L87. Ask the dealer directly. Has this specific vehicle been through a recall service? What oil is it currently running? Get it all in writing. And third, and I want to say this directly, compare your options. The Ford Expedition, the Lincoln Navigator, the Toyota Sequoia, the Jeep Wagoner, these are all real competitors in this segment, and their reliability data right now is not telling the same story that GM's is. So at 70,000 to 90,000, you should not be making a purchase decision based solely on badge loyalty. Because at these prices, buying the wrong vehicle isn't just an inconvenience, it's a financial catastrophe. A replacement engine in a Yukon Denali out of warranty is not a $3,000 repair. You're looking at $10,000 to $15,000 and upwards, with dealer downtime stretching weeks. Look, GM makes trucks and SUVs that a lot of people love. Brand loyalty in this segment runs deep, but loyalty, well, it has to go both ways. When buyers are putting $80,000 and $90,000 on the table, well, they deserve an engine that lasts longer than a few months before it needs to be replaced. So once again, my fellow drivers, thank you for watching this video. Please take note of the contents, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.